The Pentagon just dropped a bombshell that has defense analysts worldwide scrambling for answers. While everyone's been watching the Air Force's brand new F-47 sixth-generation fighter make headlines, whispers in the corridors of power suggest something far more revolutionary might already be taking shape in the shadows. We're talking about technology so advanced, so classified, that it could leapfrog an entire generation of fighter aircraft development. On March 21, 2025, Boeing was awarded the most secretive fighter contract in decades, over $20 billion for what they're calling the F-47. But here's what's got military insiders talking. If the Air Force can secretly design, build, and fly full-scale prototypes without anyone knowing for years, what else might they be working on? Because folks, the rabbit hole goes much deeper than anyone imagined. Welcome to Jet Insight, where we uncover the military secrets that shape our world. Today, we're diving into one of the most controversial questions in modern aviation. Is the United States Air Force secretly developing a seventh-generation fighter jet while everyone's focused on the sixth? The answer might shock you, and it reveals just how far ahead American military technology really is. The sixth-generation reality check. Let's start with what we know for certain. The F-47, designated just months ago, represents the pinnacle of current fighter technology. This isn't just another upgrade. This is a complete revolution in air combat. The aircraft emerged from the Next Generation Air Dominance Program, or NGAD, which has been shrouded in secrecy since its inception in 2014. Here's where things get fascinating. On September 14, 2020, Air Force Acquisition Chief Will Roper made a stunning announcement that sent shockwaves through the defense community. The Air Force had already built and flown a full-scale prototype of their next-generation fighter. Not just designed it, not just planned it, they had actually constructed and tested a complete aircraft in total secrecy. Think about that for a moment. In an age where every military movement gets scrutinized by satellites and social media, the United States Air Force managed to develop, construct, and flight test a revolutionary fighter aircraft without a single leak. That level of operational security is mind-boggling, and it demonstrates capabilities that most people can't even comprehend. The F-47 program itself tells us everything we need to know about American technological superiority. Boeing beat out Lockheed Martin in what was described as the most competitive fighter competition in decades. The aircraft features adaptive cycle engines that can literally change their configuration mid-flight, switching between fuel efficiency for long-range missions and maximum performance for combat situations. But here's what makes this even more impressive. The F-47 isn't just a fighter. It's designed as the quarterback of an entire aerial ecosystem. Each F-47 will command multiple collaborative combat aircraft, essentially AI-powered Wingman that can carry additional weapons, sensors, and electronic warfare equipment. We're looking at one pilot potentially commanding a squadron's worth of firepower. The specifications we know about are staggering. Combat radius over 1,000 nautical miles. That's enough to reach deep into any potential conflict zone in the Pacific. Top speeds above Mach 2, with stealth characteristics that make even the F-22 look primitive by comparison. And the price tag? Each F-47 is estimated to cost around $300 million, making it the most expensive fighter ever built. If you agree that the U.S. Air Force represents the finest military aviation in the world, type PROUD in the comments. The seventh generation question now. Here's where our investigation takes a dramatic turn. If the Air Force can develop sixth generation technology in complete secrecy, what's stopping them from already working on seventh generation concepts? The short answer is nothing, and the long answer is far more complex than anyone wants to admit. Aviation experts like Gareth Jennings from Jane's Defense Weekly have been surprisingly candid about this topic. When asked about seventh-generation fighters, Jennings admitted that while there's no official discussion, the progression of previous generations suggests it's not a matter of if, but when. The technologies required for seventh-generation aircraft aren't science fiction. They're logical extensions of what we're seeing today. Consider the timeline. The F-22 Raptor, our current fifth-generation fighter, first flew in 1997. The F-47 sixth-generation fighter is expected to enter service in the late 2020s. That's roughly a 30-year gap between generations. But here's the crucial detail. Development timelines have been accelerating dramatically thanks to digital engineering and advanced manufacturing. The Air Force has already proven they can compress development cycles using what they call the Digital Century Series approach. This revolutionary method allows them to rapidly prototype, test, and iterate designs using advanced computer modeling and 3D printing technologies. What used to take decades can now be accomplished in just a few years. Boeing's experience with their T-7 Red Hawk trainer demonstrates this perfectly. They took that aircraft from concept to first flight in just 3 years using digital engineering. The F-47 program has utilized even more advanced versions of these technologies, suggesting that development cycles will continue to shrink. The classified capabilities. What we're seeing publicly is just the tip of the iceberg. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, has been working on technologies that sound like science fiction, but are very real. Their Aerospace Innovation Initiative, launched in 2015, produced multiple flying demonstrators that have never been publicly acknowledged. Former Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall recently revealed that these demonstrator aircraft weren't all built by the same company and represented competitive designs. We know Boeing and Lockheed Martin both built demonstrators, with first flights occurring in 2019 and 2022, respectively. But here's the key point. These were described as experimental aircraft, not production prototypes. The question becomes, if these were experimental platforms for 6th-generation technology, what experiments might be running for 7th-generation concepts? The Air Force has a history of parallel development programs, often working on the next generation while the current generation is still in development. Consider the B-21 Raider bomber program. Northrop Grumman began conceptual work on that aircraft, while the B-2 Spirit was still being delivered. The same pattern held true for every major aircraft program in Air Force history. There's no reason to believe fighter development would be any different. The technology indicators. Several technological developments suggest that 7th-generation capabilities might already be in early development phases. Artificial intelligence has advanced exponentially in just the past few years. The computing power required for fully autonomous combat aircraft, a hallmark of 7th-generation design, is now within reach of current technology. The Collaborative Combat Aircraft program provides crucial insights into this progression. These AI-controlled wingmen represent the bridge between human-piloted 6th-generation fighters and fully autonomous 7th-generation systems. The Air Force has requested $559 million for CCA development in 2025 alone, suggesting this technology is maturing rapidly. Propulsion technology offers another clue. The adaptive cycle engines being developed for the F-47 represent a fundamental breakthrough in fighter propulsion. But engineers don't stop innovating once they achieve a breakthrough. They immediately begin working on the next advancement. It's reasonable to assume that even more advanced propulsion concepts are already in development. Stealth technology has also evolved dramatically. The F-47's stealth characteristics reportedly make it virtually invisible to current radar systems. But stealth isn't just about radar anymore. It's about the entire electromagnetic spectrum, including infrared visual and even acoustic signatures. 7th-generation aircraft would need to achieve what experts call multi-spectral stealth, invisibility across all detection methods. The manufacturing revolution. Perhaps the most compelling evidence for possible 7th-generation development lies in manufacturing capabilities. The Air Force has invested heavily in what they call digital manufacturing, the ability to design, prototype, and produce aircraft using advanced computer modeling and additive manufacturing. This technology has already proven itself with the F-47 program. Air Force Chief of Staff General David Alvin recently stated that X-plane prototypes for the F-47 have been flying hundreds of hours, testing cutting-edge concepts, and proving that we can push the envelope of technology with confidence. This level of rapid prototyping would make 7th-generation development feasible within much shorter timeframes. The implications are staggering. If the Air Force can move from concept to flying prototype in just a few years, they could potentially have 7th-generation demonstrators flying right now without public knowledge. The same operational security that kept the F-47 demonstrators secret for years could easily conceal even more advanced programs. Advanced materials science provides another piece of the puzzle. The Air Force has been investing in metamaterials, programmable matter, and even theoretical concepts like four-dimensional printing. These technologies could enable aircraft that literally reshape themselves in flight, adapting their configuration for different mission requirements. The strategic imperative. From a strategic perspective, the development of seventh-generation fighters makes perfect sense. China recently conducted its first flight tests of what appears to be a sixth-generation fighter, the J-36, on December 26, 2024. Russia continues development of their PAC-DP interceptor, also classified as a sixth-generation platform. The United States has always maintained technological superiority through staying one generation ahead of potential adversaries. While other nations are struggling to field fifth-generation aircraft, America is preparing to deploy sixth-generation fighters. It would be strategically negligent not to have seventh-generation concepts already in development. General Mark Kelly, head of Air Combat Command, stated in September 2022 that China was making significant progress on sixth-generation technology. He emphasized that China viewed sixth-generation development the same way the Air Force did, as a system-of-systems approach offering exponential improvements in stealth, processing power, and sensing. This competitive pressure virtually guarantees that American seventh-generation research is already underway. The question isn't whether such programs exist, but how advanced they've become and when we might see the first public acknowledgement of their existence. The autonomous evolution. One of the most significant indicators of seventh-generation development is the rapid advancement in autonomous combat systems. Current CCA programs represent the stepping stones toward fully autonomous fighters. These systems are already demonstrating the ability to make complex tactical decisions without human intervention. The progression is logical and inevitable. Sixth-generation fighters like the F-47 will operate with AI-assisted human pilots commanding autonomous wingmen. Seventh-generation systems would eliminate the human pilot entirely, relying on artificial intelligence for all tactical and strategic decisions. This evolution makes sense from multiple perspectives. Autonomous fighters can withstand G-forces that would incapacitate human pilots. They don't require life support systems, ejection seats, or cockpit displays, allowing for more compact and efficient designs. Most importantly, they can make split-second decisions based on data processing capabilities far beyond human limitations. The Air Force has already acknowledged this trajectory. Multiple officials have suggested that future air combat will be dominated by autonomous systems working in coordination with reduced numbers of human-piloted aircraft. This isn't speculation, it's official Air Force doctrine for future warfare. The space connection. Another fascinating aspect of potential seventh-generation development involves space operations. Current sixth-generation fighters are designed for atmospheric combat with limited space capabilities. Seventh-generation systems would likely feature true aerospace capabilities, operating seamlessly between atmospheric and space environments. This capability becomes crucial when considering future threat environments. Hypersonic weapons, satellite warfare, and space-based sensors all require response capabilities that transcend traditional atmospheric limitations. Seventh-generation fighters would need to counter threats across the entire aerospace domain. The Air Force has been quietly developing space-related combat capabilities for years. The X-37B spaceplane represents one example of this technology development. Recent reports suggest even more advanced space-based systems are in development, though details remain highly classified. Combining atmospheric fighter capabilities with space operations would represent the ultimate expression of air and space superiority. Such systems could engage targets in orbit, intercept incoming hypersonic weapons, and provide global response capabilities that no current fighter can match. The energy revolution. Power generation and management represent another crucial aspect of seventh-generation development. Current fighters rely on traditional fuel-based propulsion with limited electrical generation capabilities. Future systems will require massive amounts of electrical power for directed energy weapons, advanced sensors, and powerful computing systems. The F-47 already incorporates significantly enhanced electrical generation compared to current fighters. Its adaptive cycle engines are designed to produce much more electricity while managing the associated heat generation. But seventh-generation requirements would demand even more dramatic improvements in power generation and management. Directed energy weapons represent the most obvious application for enhanced electrical systems. Laser weapons could provide unlimited ammunition as long as electrical power remains available. This capability would fundamentally change air combat tactics and strategy. Advanced sensor systems also require enormous amounts of electrical power. Seventh-generation fighters would need to detect and track targets across vast distances while simultaneously jamming enemy sensors and communications. These capabilities demand power generation systems that don't exist in current fighters. The manufacturing timeline. Based on current development patterns and technological capabilities, seventh-generation demonstrator aircraft could already be in early flight testing phases. The same digital engineering and rapid prototyping capabilities that accelerated F-47 development would make seventh-generation demonstration feasible within current timeframes. Consider the pattern established by previous fighter generations. Conceptual work typically begins while the previous generation is still in development. Engineering development starts during early production of the previous generation. Flight testing of demonstrators occurs while the previous generation is entering service. Following this pattern, seventh-generation conceptual work would have begun around 2020, when F-47 development was well underway. Engineering development could have started around 2023, as F-47 design was finalized. Demonstrator flight testing could be occurring right now, in 2025, as the F-47 prepares for service entry. This timeline aligns perfectly with the technological capabilities and strategic requirements we've discussed. It also matches the historical pattern of American fighter development, which has consistently maintained one-generation advantages over potential adversaries. Before we dive into our final analysis, I want to take a moment to address our incredible community of military enthusiasts, veterans, and active service members. Your insights and experiences add tremendous value to our discussions about America's military capabilities. If you're a military veteran, active service member, or simply passionate about military aviation, I encourage you to join our growing community in the comments section. Your perspectives help all of us better understand the complexities of modern military technology and strategy. The classified evidence, the most compelling evidence for seventh-generation development, remains classified, but we can read between the lines of official statements and budget allocations. The Air Force's fiscal 2025 budget includes significant funding for advanced aircraft development beyond the F-47 program. While details remain classified, the funding levels suggest major programs beyond publicly acknowledged efforts. Recent statements from Air Force leadership provide additional clues. General Alvin's comments about different ways to execute the same mission and embracing human-machine teaming suggest concepts that extend beyond current sixth-generation capabilities. These statements align with theoretical seventh-generation requirements for fully integrated human-AI combat systems. The emphasis on understanding what autonomy can actually do for us particularly suggests research into fully autonomous combat systems. Such capabilities would represent the defining characteristic of seventh-generation fighters: complete autonomy in complex combat environments. Budget analysis reveals another interesting pattern. Funding for advanced technology development has increased dramatically over the past 3 years, even beyond the substantial F-47 program requirements. This additional funding suggests parallel development efforts that haven't been publicly acknowledged. The international competition. Recent developments in international fighter programs provide additional context for potential American seventh-generation efforts. China's surprise flight testing of the J-36 sixth-generation demonstrator on December 26, 2024, sent shockwaves through the international defense community. The aircraft's advanced configuration and apparent capabilities suggest China is moving faster than most analysts expected. Russia's continued development of the PAC-DP interceptor, despite economic sanctions and resource constraints, demonstrates their commitment to maintaining fighter technology advancement. While Russian capabilities lag behind American technology, their persistence in development efforts requires continued American innovation to maintain advantages. European collaborative programs like the Future Combat Air System and the Global Combat Air Program represent additional competitive pressures. While these multinational efforts face coordination challenges, they combine substantial resources and expertise that could produce significant technological advancement. The global nature of this competition virtually guarantees that the United States is pursuing every possible technological advantage. Allowing adversaries to achieve technological parity in fighter capabilities would represent an unacceptable strategic risk that American leadership would never permit. The theoretical capabilities. Based on current technological trends and strategic requirements, theoretical 7th-generation fighters would incorporate capabilities that seem almost impossible by today's standards. Complete multispectral stealth would make them invisible to all current detection methods. Hypersonic performance would allow global response within hours rather than days. Fully autonomous operation would eliminate human limitations while enabling coordination with hundreds of other autonomous systems simultaneously. Adaptive airframe technology could allow aircraft to physically reconfigure themselves for different mission requirements. Space-capable propulsion would provide true aerospace operational capabilities. Directed energy weapons would provide unlimited firepower as long as power generation continues. Advanced artificial intelligence would enable tactical and strategic decision-making superior to human capabilities. Quantum computing and communications would provide unhackable coordination with other systems. These capabilities might sound like science fiction, but every technology mentioned is currently in various stages of development. The question isn't whether such capabilities are possible, but when they'll be integrated into operational fighter aircraft. The strategic implications. If 7th-generation fighters are indeed in development, the strategic implications extend far beyond simple air superiority. Such capabilities would provide global power projection abilities that no adversary could counter. The psychological impact alone would be enormous. Knowing that such capabilities exist changes the entire calculus of international relations. The economic implications are equally significant. 7th-generation development would require unprecedented investments in research, development, and manufacturing infrastructure. Such investments would drive technological advancement across multiple industries, maintaining American leadership in advanced manufacturing and materials science. From a deterrence perspective, 7th-generation capabilities would provide the ultimate guarantee of American security interests. No adversary could realistically challenge American power projection capabilities if such systems existed. This level of technological superiority could prevent conflicts rather than winning them. The international alliance implications also deserve consideration. Sharing 7th-generation technology with close allies would strengthen security partnerships while maintaining American technological leadership. Such capabilities could provide the foundation for joint defense initiatives that strengthen global security. The final analysis. After examining all available evidence, patterns, and strategic considerations, the conclusion becomes increasingly clear. While the Air Force isn't publicly acknowledging 7th-generation fighter development, the technological capabilities, strategic requirements, and historical patterns all suggest such programs are likely already underway. The same operational security that kept 6th-generation development secret for years could easily conceal 7th-generation research and development. The technological building blocks for such capabilities either exist today or are in advanced development stages. The strategic imperative for maintaining generational advantages over potential adversaries provides overwhelming motivation for such programs. The timeline for possible public acknowledgement remains uncertain, but historical patterns suggest we might see the first hints within the next few years. The Air Force has consistently revealed advanced programs only after achieving significant developmental milestones, typically when prototype testing validates key technologies. Whether such programs exist or not, the mere possibility demonstrates the incredible technological capabilities and strategic thinking that define American military aviation. Our Air Force continues to push the boundaries of what's possible, ensuring that American airmen have the best equipment and capabilities in the world. Conclusion. The question of whether the Air Force is secretly building 7th-generation fighters reveals something profound about American military capabilities. Whether such programs exist today or will begin tomorrow, the technological foundation and strategic vision are clearly in place to maintain America's aerial superiority for decades to come. Our military continues to demonstrate the innovation, dedication, and excellence that has protected American interests for generations. From the pilots who fly these incredible machines, to the engineers who design them, to the maintainers who keep them flying, every member of our Air Force family deserves our respect and gratitude. The future of air combat will undoubtedly bring challenges we can't even imagine today. But if history teaches us anything, It's that American ingenuity and determination will rise to meet those challenges. Our Air Force has never failed to adapt, innovate, and overcome, and there's no reason to believe that tradition will change. If you found this deep dive into advanced fighter development as fascinating as I did, please consider supporting our channel with a like and subscribe. Your engagement helps us continue investigating the military technologies and strategies that shape our world. Let us know in the comments what other classified programs you'd like us to investigate next. And remember, the truth is often far more incredible than fiction.